So the timing, timing is everything in life, isn't it? And I think we are all really conscious of the challenges that COVID-19 has imposed on education. They're not limited to international education. They are certainly ones that our colleagues and you may be facing if you're a practicing teacher in going back to school now within a few weeks from now. I would say add this variable to your research, but I would not. I wouldn't want to discourage you from saying wait till COVID-19 is resolved before you want to consider teaching internationally. I think that's could be a very long time in the future. And ironically, I want to maybe weave both of these questions together because I have a client school in China, and the head of that school, they're currently overstaffed because their enrollment numbers are down a bit. But he is actually glad that he's been supported in keeping them because he feels that in the next 2 to 3 years there's going to be real challenges in recruiting teachers internationally. So in some respects, COVID-19 and the challenges that people have faced may well open doors and provide opportunities that otherwise aren't as abundant in terms of choices of where you want to go. And the challenges that are embedded in COVID-19 and in kind of the lockdowns that have been imposed, I think will probably weed out a lot of people who just were teetering on the edge and they just choose to go home, and that's their choice. I don't criticize that. In fact, I applaud it if it's what's right for them. But in terms of considering what will happen internationally, I don't see that the demand for international education is going to be dramatically changed. But the supply of teachers may well have had an impact. So I think it's going to be there'll be multiple opportunities over the next 2 to 3 years for international teaching opportunities.
Yeah, I would echo that, Glenn. I think in the current situation, recruiting starts early. So kind of October, November, recruiting starts. So this year I think will be a really big tell in terms of what's to come. And I think this year will be a little bit of an odd year for recruiting in terms of it's not going to look exactly the same with all of this going on. So, but I will say that the same. I know people that have kind of said, you know what, we're going to go home with all of this, trying to move family and pets and whatnot. That would usually be, a bit of a process, but something that people are used to has just become a bit too much for some people. And they say, we're going to go home, we're going to teach at home for a couple years, and then we'll go back to it when we're ready and when the world is ready. And then I think because of that, as Glenn said, there will be jobs at schools for people who are willing to go and to, right, take the adventure that's there. So I would just say in terms of COVID-19, that is obviously going to be a very pertinent question in an interview. You want to make sure that you're covered health insurance wise. I think a lot of schools are going to be looking at their health coverage and things like that. So making sure that you're covered, and then if you're comfortable, you find out what the restrictions are in the country. Currently, right now, I'm on a 7-day complete lockdown. We found out at 8 p.m. last night. The Prime Minister came on and basically said effective right now for 7 days, you cannot leave your home. There's no grocery stores, nothing, right? So as international teachers, I think the thing that attracts people to international teaching is your adaptability, right? And your willingness to go and deal with different situations. And this is a different situation. So again, a lot of the great thing about this is the community that is at these schools. Everyone kind of bands together and takes care of each other, right? One of my colleagues literally just came, helped me pack a bag, and I moved to her house so I wouldn't be alone for the 7 days. So it's one of those things where it's definitely something that's affected teaching, but there's so many great things that have come from it as well. And there will be opportunities, I think, because of it.